Back to the Keeping It Real with KC podcast. I, of course, am your host, KC Phoenix. And you know what? I don't know what's going on in Florida because this isn't the only Florida story I have. So if you enjoyed this story, be sure to check out the next Florida story that I plan on uploading. That one's a doozy as well. So, yeah. Burglars do some weird things sometimes. This is probably one of the weirdest I ever heard. I've never heard this before in my life. And that's saying something. So yeah, before I go any further, KIRWKC.com, main podcasting platform. This podcast is carried on Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Overcast, Bullhorn, Amazon Music, Audible, and several other podcasting platforms. Please feel free to listen to this podcast on whatever platform is most convenient for you. KIRWKC on all the social media platforms. Now, let's get into this story. Oh boy. Florida sheriff. Burglars call 911 to get help moving stuff. Out of all the people to call, it was on their spirit. And there's people outside working, so if you hear stuff outside in the background, that's what that is. Out of all the people they could have called, they decided to call 911. Out of all the people, they could have called other fellow burglars. They could have called family. They could have called friends. The first thing that came to their mind is, okay, we're robbing this home. Let's call 911 to get help to move this stuff. And they didn't just ask for help moving the stuff. They asked for more things. Let's just read this. So it says, 2 people in Florida were arrested after one of them made a 911 call to get help with moving their belongings from a home they were burglarizing, authorities said. Deputies responded to a home Saturday after a 911 call was made, but nobody spoke. The Polk County Sheriff's Office said, at the home, the deputies concluded that nobody lived there, but they found a male suspect and his girlfriend inside the home after entering it through an unlocked door. Deputies have been searching for the male suspect after identifying him from security video as a burglar at a Dollar General store in Posiana, Florida, where several items were stolen earlier in the day. The sheriff's office said in a statement, Posiana is about 35 miles south of Orlando. While talking to the deputies, the female suspect told them that she had called 911 for the purpose of having law enforcement help them move their belongings from the house they were burglarizing. They also wanted to get a ride to the airport so they could spend the weekend in New York, the sheriff's office said. Deputies did help them with their belongings and did give them a ride, but it wasn't to the airport. It was to the Polk Pokey, the sheriff's office said in a Facebook post. And they were welcome to stay there, and they are welcome to stay there all weekend long. The Polk Pokey is much better than New York anyways. The male suspect was charged with burglary and theft related to the store and also burglary of a residence. The female suspect was charged with burglary of a residence, according to the sheriff's office. So yeah, that is the story. They're doing maintenance. I gotta go.